So did y'all watch this last episode of Diary of a CEO? Let me just get off to it. And to be honest, I didn't make notes on every single thing that was coming up because it's like, this is too much. This is too much. This is too much. 2 minutes and 37 seconds into the video. I forget the host's name. What's his name? Joshua? We start off with a report by Andy Kirky. Basically, what the Lost Boys is telling us is that boys are getting lost in society because they aren't growing up with guidance, discipline, and purpose. Our guest hosts are Logan Uri, and she's a behavioral scientist turned dating coach. She talks about a mating gap between men and women, the gap essentially being between the men women are looking for and what is available. Her research, and mind you, her research was done from her community specifically for the show. She's referencing her own private research that she did with the people who subscribe to her emails. We don't know what her community looks like. We don't know the numbers behind the information she's given us. And then we have Scott Galoway. He's a marketing professor. I think he's just like a mentor for men, essentially. He's supporting lost boys. Scott starts off by saying the biggest point of failure for boys is losing a male role model. And says that boys are emotionally and mentally weaker. They go on to give examples saying men don't want to be teachers. They don't want to be coaches because it doesn't pay well. It was just a sad podcast overall because it's like men are the reason why boys are failing. Scott was saying that these dudes are out here doing Revenge of the Nerds and there's no physical work that they can do to make money and it's all computer science. Logan brings up this statistic saying that schools prioritize the female experience. Are you serious, Logan? Logan, you serious? You mean these same school systems that were made for men and that women weren't allowed to join? These are the systems that are prioritizing females? We then get into the conversation. Where are the men going? Where are the men to model the role for these boys? Guess the number one reason any black people want to come to the front. That's so bad. I shouldn't be laughing. Okay, let me move on because I shouldn't be laughing. And the answer here is male abandonment. The men are just leaving. And then Scott wants to pull a Uno reverse talking about also it's because the courts and the economy. You mean these same courts that are run by men? These men are making it hard for other men to take care of their kids. Is that what you're saying? Or you mean this same economy that's run by men? So basically what you're saying is that the men, they just abandon the kids and they don't provide them with good leadership and a good model. But then on top of that, you have other men preventing men from being good role models. So it seems like this is just a male issue right here. But okay, let's keep going. Scott goes ahead and just says boys are less resilient. So, okay, let's review this. So Scott says that biggest failure for boys is losing a role model. They're just abandoning the kids. They don't want to be there. He goes on to say that the prefrontal cortex of the boys are just not operating to the same level of girls. They mentally underdeveloped comparatively. And then he just goes to say that boys are emotionally and mentally weaker. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, so why are boys leaders? Why are the men leaders? Anyways, Logan and her male apologist asks, why are boys less resilient? That made me roll my goddamn eyes because it's so obvious. The boys are less resilient because they don't have a proper idea of how to function as a man. Because the men don't know how to function without women. And rather than just listen to women, y'all just want to be disagreeable. At 18 minutes and 46 seconds, Scott, he starts talking about how there is no more Boy Scouts. Let me take a look and see why is there no more Boy Scouts? Let me guess. Is it because there was a lot of abuse happening? Oh yes, sexual abuse. The Boy Scout got canceled. and they're upset. But why did it get canceled? One of the main reasons was there was sexual abuse. So, hey, there we go. You know, they were talking a whole bunch of shit all throughout this entire podcast. But at 26 minutes, Scott, he's... Yo, this dude is not serious about life. Why do you want the lowest 25% of men to get married? Meanwhile, statistics show us that the poorer you are, the more abusive you are when it comes to relationships as a man. And then they show us this graph. What I took from the graph is that boys stopped turning into men around 2017. Let me know if that's what you also got from this graph. Anyways. Logan states that these men don't have the skills to be in emotional relationships, and men aren't evolving with the times. Men don't need to be in a relationship. They need to be trained on how to be humane. From all the information that was provided in this video, it's all pointing towards the fact that men are perverted, corrupted, perverted individuals who have a weak mind. That's what I got. There's a ton of men out there, just not men they want to date. That's what Scott said about women. Yeah, that's the same for men, sir. There's a ton of women out there that men just don't want to date because of how they look. So it's the same. Men want a certain type of look too, and they're blocking everybody out who doesn't look like that. But when the girls do it, now it's a problem. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. And the thing that I hate is that basically they say that women should settle on height, but not once did they tell men to settle on looks. Women don't want men unless the men are fully furnished. And this is where I'm also going to have to call cat. Black men are the most economically non-viable males. That's just the honest truth. But guess what? Black women have been making it work for centuries. Scott's talking a whole bunch of shit in this video. He says, where does the woman have the opportunity to fall in love? Boy, if you don't stop with that bull ass shit. Love is a farce. Disney did a really great job indoctrinating us with this idea of love. Let's go to the dictionary. What do men say love is? It is a strong feeling of affection. Look how dry that definition is. Okay, let's see. What does affection mean? Affection. Gentle fondness or liking. That's why, guys, just, I love you. I love you. I would say love is much more than that. Love is selfless sacrifice. And we know that's one thing men can't do. They can't be selfless. Their whole makeup is just about indulging the self. Okay, anyways, let's move on because that's a whole conversation in and of itself. I don't know if this podcast was an advertisement for like women to not engage with men for relationships, but that's what I'm taking away from this episode. Women want emotionally available men, but they can't handle emotionality of these men. I was like, now hold on now hold on, wait a minute, pump the brakes. Because in the example she gave, it was a man who had disclosed to the woman that his mother had offed herself, and the following day the girl texted him and said, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to process your emotional trauma. And okay. Let's learn a little bit from this situation. So sending a text, that's you out of line for that. But we don't know the situation and dynamics of that scenario to say that the girl was all the way wrong. Because I mean, the way Logan was framing it, yeah, it'll lead you to be like, oh, why didn't she just stay and support him through it? She kind of did him a favor by opting out. Like, why don't we want to see it that way? Scott, he poses this question. To which the host, I don't know what the host name is. Is it Jonathan? Starts giggling and laughing like a fucking dweeb. Okay. He says, would you want to have sex with you? Remember, these are apparently the good guys. These are the good role models for the lost boys. They don't care about actually being kind just to be a good person. They're being kind to get something. Just be a good individual. Give without expecting to get anything in return. Nah, this man is telling you, be kind and you'll get what it is you're looking for. That's what he's saying. We then hop into a conversation about men talking to other men. And it's like, bro, men leading each other has got us to where we are now. And they are offing themselves at an extremely high rate. So why would we continue to let men lead men? They obviously don't know what the fuck they're doing. Logan starts talking about, once there's a tiki torch, I want there to be some women, in reference to men having their own spaces. Because we know what happens when men have their own spaces. They talk about how they can prey on the most vulnerable. Talking about, I want there to be some women there when men get together. Not white women. Shout out to the ladies of the Invisible Empire. Scott says that men are worried that other men will kill them, and they're worried that women won't have sex with them. Our society is just corrupted with perversion. They can't even stop themselves from touching little kids. The more I look at this, the more I don't want to go through all my notes, because I'm just reading it and coming to the conclusion that, when you got a bunch of weak-minded individuals who are physically stronger, you're going to have people abuse their power. That really sums up the world that we're seeing today. As a guy, it's hard to know how and when to approach a girl in a post-Me Too era. Why is it hard for you to approach a girl post-Me Too? Let's sit down and let's think about that. You know that if you start some flagrant shit, you're gonna get flamed. You can't be as obnoxious and as abrasive, as rude, as abusive as you used to be. Like, why is it hard? You don't know how to approach a girl without being impolite? Like, let's really understand why it's hard. Because really and truly, we're in the judgment days. You know how many times I've been on Instagram and the comment section is flaming girls in the gym because they posted a video and the girl was just being rude for no reason. You know how many times I've seen that? But the difference is the occurrence rate. You see much more men being abrasive and rude than you see them being innocent. This thing where, as a guy, it's hard for me to approach a girl because of Me Too. Let's be honest, men are only approaching a certain type of girl. Can we talk about that? Y'all aren't choosing all women. Let's keep it moving. Actually, I'm getting tired. This is a point where I agree with Scott. Young men need to be taught the art of approaching a woman and making her feel safe. I can get with this idea. How many times do you hear of, oh, you were ugly anyways. Oh, I didn't want you anyways. So then we both want the same thing. You don't want me, I don't want you. Okay, cool. Like, why are you upset then? This motherfucker Scott said, young people need to drink more and make a series of bad decisions that may pay off. What? And this is y'all's role model? This is the guy we're nominating to be a role model for the young men's? Like, we're seeing in real time the problem with the role model of men's, even the good, because this is apparently the good guy, the guy that's educated. He's still wrapped up in that toxic masculinity of the past. Because what do you mean young people need to drink more and make a series of bad decisions? No, young people need to get to know themselves. You don't get to know yourselves by being drunk. You're not yourself when you're drunk. And I appreciate Miss Logan, like, pushing back and talking about anxiety. We want to teach people to be confident in who they are. You don't get confident in who you are by drinking. That's why you have a whole bunch of people out here who can't function without some type of solution to make it easier for them to talk. No, it's okay to be sober and be yourself. That's what needs to be taught. But these are the role models y'all want. This motherfucker said the foundation of his romantic opportunities and great friendships was alcohol. Let's listen to that again. What does that sound like to you? Sounds like Me Too. Sounds like Me Too is in the room with us right here. It's important to develop yourself outside of romantic sexual opportunity. Unlike Mr. Me Too, that's what we should be calling him from now on. She went into this exercise of describing what their partner would be as a type of clothing. Both of them said black. I'm joking. They didn't say that their partner should be black, as in the race of people. James, the host, said his partner would be like a silk black shirt because he can wear it wherever. And then Mr. Scott said that his partner would be also like a black cashmere sweater. What I got from both of them was that their partner was something that they could wear outside. Yeah, these people want somebody that looks nice outside to others. Whereas with Logan, it was more so a feeling of comfortability. 1 hour, 24 minutes. I'm coming from the woman's perspective, female perspective. You shouldn't go into dating with the frame of mind of who am I and am I going to be chosen? No, you need to go into dating like, this is the type of person I want. I want to find my co-equal. Okay, so we're almost there, y'all. We're almost there. Samuel, the host, Samuel was talking about when it comes to a man, you really can't find a mate if you don't have the money. And that white man over there said it's mostly true. And you know, maybe it's true now. Now that we have all the aunties and the mamas giving good advice to the young girlies, saying, hey, don't marry for love. These motherfuckers don't know what love is. To these motherfuckers, love is a strong, gentle fondness or liking, right? Don't let love define the relationship. You also have to be smart. This is also an idea that is not true for the Black community. So you're saying it's mostly true that you only need you need money to get with a woman. Not for Black women. They will stick by you with nothing. But how has that benefited our communities? Let's look at the communities. And you will see the answer to that question. It's not good. Being a human boot camp. Logan gives them another exercise to kind of describe what they would put in their boot camp, the message that they would give to these men. And the first thing that, is it Demetrius? What is this host's name? Or whatever, we'll say Demetrius. The first thing he says is comedy, which is a great answer. But when we figure out why he says comedy, and literally says, because the only thing that got me laid was being funny when I didn't have money. Oh, so you have exposed yourself, you fraudulent fuck, you freaking liar. Weren't y'all talking 2 seconds ago about how if you don't have money, you can't get a girl, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, Demetrius just said when he didn't have money, the way he would get girls is through comedy. We want to talk about delusional. Yeah, guys are delusional also. Don't worry, we're almost done here. I'm about to wrap up you. Yo, Demetrius really exposed himself. Demetrius said listening and understanding is tough for him. He says it hurts listening to his girl. He literally said it hurts and repeated that. How many times he repeat that? Was it twice or 3 times? He said it hurts. It hurts. Like, bruh, what? To listen to your girl. It hurts you. Listening and understanding. These are the prototypes of the people who are running society. Like, let's be real, y'all. It's sad. He also notes he doesn't talk with his boys, his friends. They can just sit around and it's not required for them and their friends to develop themselves and be better. Logan starts talking about there's something sick in our society. Yeah, bitch. There is something sick in our society. It is the inhumanity. And why is there so much inhumanity? Is because you have the least humane people running society. All throughout this entire podcast, all they have described is how the male mind is corrupted and it's perverse. It makes sense why our world looks the way it does. Anyways, they end off the podcast talking about politics, left versus right. And let's be honest about it. The left being about ideology around shared resources, and then you have the right wing, the mindset of monopolies, individual domination, which is the mindset of men. And we see where the masculine mindset has gotten us. These men are offing themselves. The way the world is right now, we don't need to be worried about being in romantic relationships. We need to focus on building up the individual. We are living in a world where men don't know what it means to be a man, children are being harmed, and the women are losing their way. It's a shit show out here. So I'll end it there. That was a lot. That was a lot to go through. And to be honest, I really do think we can do it. We as a society can rework this system so that everybody can succeed. There definitely has to be a Black woman involved. Let me know your thoughts. Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Bye.